Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rhonda Fair, if you don't know me, from TTKMS. How you doing? How you doing this morning? Oh, I just got another light switch on. But how is your morning going, or whatever you may be doing? Or maybe you're at work or at school, studying. I'm watching this movie. This is not just a movie, it's a warning to humanity. And you know, in this film, it's very true what's going on in this world right now. Excuse me. So, I'm reading and I'm studying about us human beings. And we hear in Matthew 5:13, be the salt of the earth. Tasteful, respectful. And that salt is actually Celtic salt. Be the salt of the earth. And where the salt comes from, in the salt water, the sea salt, okay? Be the salt of the earth. So I got thinking, when I was talking this morning and right now, why, and I don't know why I asked myself why, because I give myself up, sat back, and I said, why isn't the church is teaching this? Well, a couple different reasons we might not be teaching it is because we don't have the knowledge of it, or we don't want people to know. And that's oppression. We are the dry land, okay? So us human beings are the dry land, where we come from. The dirt, the dust. We're dust, right? If you rub your skin or whatever, it gets dry. What does it do? You take your shirt, if it's really dry, it'll be on your clothes. So you have to wash it, right? But it's dry. So it's from the earth, the dry land. We are the dry land. Okay? Man and woman. Man and woman, okay? The reason why God created man and woman, I told you that was Jesus, the riddle about it, the riddle of Adam and Eve. Right? So of Adam and Eve as one. So God is the groom and we are the bride. Okay, we are as one. It does not matter if you're male or female speaking the truth. It does not matter. The Bible has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with it. See, because we are the sea is another riddle of us people. So we are the people and we need the salt. And if you also look at, if you do a study on that in the in geology, but you will find out that the reason why there's salt in that water, for this reason, and also it keeps the balance in the temperature so it doesn't freeze. So if we are the sea people and we're needing the salt from the water, okay, because this is a riddle. In Genesis 1:10, the geological and political division, the light and the darkness, the salt, the Celtic salt. And that's where you hear about the blood transfusion from Celtic salt. And the reigns, Israel and Egypt. 2 Kings 5:2, Exodus 20, verse 2. So we have Eres. Eres means you are. You are. And here, and we also look, it is it's a line, a transparent, it's a natural line. Okay, that's what I should be saying. It's a natural line, natural. Look up the word natural. Natural line, transparent of layers that overlap. And when they brush against each other, they reveal themselves. So what happens is, Ores is you are the earth. Greek and in Hebrew is to exist or to be. So here, this will take you back, and be very careful, ladies and gentlemen, because once you do a fun study on this and get the riddles, you're going to find out the story about why anybody can speak the truth. It's nothing to do with only just a male with a penis. See, God is man and woman. That was the riddle about it from the beginning with Adam and Eve. It does not matter. He said, that's why he said to study yourself approved. Yourself. You see? Study yourself so you can have understanding. And so when you walk into a wolf's office, you will recognize this. Right? So that's why God gave us, we're both the same, except there's a difference, because you see, God had just positioned me to have a vagina and positioned another person to have a penis. And the reason why he made it metaphorically feeling good is because it was an attraction so that we could multiply, make more. Make more. And why? For this reason. So that it can be known who God is, because he's in the spirit. You see, that's why he only died for us once. See, he had to let us know. He had to let us know. So there is no difference, except that God had shown why he made with males, why they're usually stronger. Because he alone, he was just giving us riddles. So you notice, if a man came in here, he could lift my couch, where I couldn't lift it like him. Not unless I had to put a lot of bodybuilding and craziness, but But in the natural way, God had made the man stronger for a reason. And if you go back to the riddle of Adam and Eve, because he is the foundation, he was showing us it's a riddle for us human beings are connected with Adam and Eve. That's why male is stronger and feminine, women with a vagina. So he made me, he could have made me with a penis, but he made me with a vagina, right? Because I am the darkness. It was a riddle. It was a parable, a story of he had to wash his blood in water on the female, okay, on Eve, which is the darkness. Adam is the light. So that's why I have a vagina and you have a penis. So the reason why he made it metaphorically orgasmic, because it drives you crazy when you have sex, because he did it for a reason. So that when you were drawn together like a magnet, he'd go, ha ha, I gotchas. You could make more. And more, and more, and more, and more. Because he is a spirit. And he was using us, and he don't need us. You see, and once you open up the riddles to these stories, there's your answer. So ladies and gentlemen, it does not matter if you're male or female. That's why if you just look at those riddles, why is it a man can come in here and he has usually bigger hands, usually, but you will see, because a man failed, we have minimized who God is. So we shrunk human beings even worse. See, from the beginning, it was perfect. He's showing us that male, he is the foundation. He is the foundation, so he made man. It was a riddle comparison to. So Adam is the comparison. Female, Eve, the weak one, which is the dark. We are the weak darkness, the weak. So we need to be poured onto with the blood and water to be the pillars of his foundation. And that's what that means. That's what the sea is, us people, the dry land. We need the sea soul, we need the Celtic soul, we need his magical, beautiful blood and water that's mixed in the sea and ocean, as you see, as the people. That's the beauty of it. And that's when you're listening to songs too. So it doesn't make man You see, the parable, the riddle, the story of the riddle about man was actually God. He is the powerful one, not us puny male and females here. That was the riddle. We're nothing. It's a whole setup in the riddles of why God made a vagina and a penis. You see, it's not about male overpowering on earth over women. Do you understand? But if he's following his lead on that path, right? That's why God made man stronger. Males with a penis, you know? And then why women are usually weaker in the vagina. Do you understand? He's using us. But we have to allow it. So when I grabbed all the pieces, and with Job and with every story that was in here, there was a riddle to it. That's why he used the animals as a riddle in the Bible. He uses the sea in the Bible for a riddle. It's not about you have to wear a dress, you have to be oppressed, you have to be harmed from the word. No, that is all hogwash. That has nothing to do with the Bible. That's to do with man's Bible. See? So when a male comes here and I'm with him, the reason why his penis is attracted to my vagina is because it's orgasmic. So that, well, if we could still have babies, you have more babies, you see. So that you can be, because you come from, it was a riddle. It was all a riddle. Every story in the Bible is riddles. So ladies and gentlemen, I went and spoke to a female pastor about this, but she knew. She didn't tell me, but she knew. And left for me to study. When I went to the United States, and the pastor was listening. He just became a pastor. And big congratulations to him. And when he says, you just taught me something, he wasn't saying I'm better than him. But he learned something more than we knew before. When we went into the Hebrew and Greek words. Or actually, we did the Greek words. So now, I've made it very clear now, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we are nothings. But that's why when I have a partner, the reason why he gets turned on is because God created that way. God created your vagina to get moist. And the reason why it gets moist, because if it went into dry land, it would hurt. Right? Because males and female, we are from dryness. So he gave us a lubrication. So there was no harm. That's the same with the sea from the water. Or the salt from the water. That's why, so that, do you understand? Those are the riddles. That's why, so his penis don't hurt. Or your vagina. The lubrication. It is moisture. Right? So it can glide. There's nothing wrong with touching your plumbing. But do it in private. It's all about what God gave us. You see? And because we messed up, we screwed up our hormones. I hope this helps you. And I'm telling you, you can go into Matthew 5:13, you can go into Genesis 1:10, you can go into Exodus 22, 20 verse 2, you can go into 2 Kings 5:2, and there is much more. There's Romans 5:12, but what I'm saying is go back and read the first 7 days. And go in the Hebrew, go in the Greek, and there is your answer to the whole Bible of that. See, he doesn't look at us as male and female that way like we do. You see? No, we're just a vessel. we're a vessel, then that's why he had to come up with a design to make it, when you have sex, why it feels so dang good even talking about it, is because he designed it to do that. It's a magnet. He knows what the heck he's doing. And that's why he made your butthole so close to your vagina, because he knew we needed that in our body, the fumes from it. There's a lot of science that we can learn from. There's a lot. So I hope this helps you, because I am very excited about this. That's why I was thinking back to the questions that my sister was asking me a long time ago. And I was like, I gotta go find that out more. But yeah, that's why when my one friend, I haven't seen them in a long time, he says, oh, you gotta be like an egg. Oh, I mean, be like an egg, huh? He goes, yeah, yoked. You gotta both be on the same page. Because no matter what, a penis and vagina is going to be a magnet anyways. You're just the shell. It is what's on the inside that changes everything on the outside to have understanding. And that's what, I mean, it took 60 some odd years for me. But do you understand? Yeah. I hope you can take this away with you. And that's what the laws of attraction is. The truth. Be the salt of the earth. Be the salt of the earth. That is his taste, his spirit, his blood, his water. Yeah. I'm excited about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, it does not matter if you're a male or a female. I could go in and take you into scriptures, who he was talking to, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not here up for debate. When he said, go study yourself approved, he meant go study for yourself. Go study for yourself. I talked to a gentleman, he's in a nursing home, and he says, go study yourself approved. I study, he says, for myself. And he reads it, and that's what he does. Another man said to me in a hospital in Strathroy, because I worked in a few different places over there, and he says he could tell. He used to be a priest, and then he quit being a priest because he says God was very angry, because he says I was trying to take the place of God. And then when I realized that, he says I was disciplined. That's what he was telling me. And he became a pastor. And so he says he could tell when people were walking by his room, and in their actions right away, who was of the dark way and of the light way. And that's what he meant. So if he's seen too much darkness, he would pull his wheelchair into his room. But when it was more light, like when he seen me, he brought his chair out into the hallway and he talked to me. When certain people went by, he pushed it back inside, and that's what he was trying to say. You see? But don't let it overcome you and scare you. Okay? So, anyways, I hope you can take that back with you today. I'm Rhonda Fair from TTKMS, and God bless.